Peace family. It's your boy 7seals. And I want to talk a little bit about myself and why I created 7seals. But before I talk about why I created 7seals, I want to tell you a little bit about my story. Right? So a little bit about my story is growing up, I grew up in a one-parent household, which was a little bit rough for me. I mean, especially being a black man. So I kind of lacked guidance in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different things that I had to face growing up. So I dealt with a lot of emotional trauma, a lot of turmoil, and a lot of emotional challenges and battles. But also me putting myself in positions that I shouldn't have been putting myself in, hanging out with the wrong people, claiming this set or doing this thing. Right, so I was kind of in a dark place where I wasn't very self-aware of my actions, and I was also controlled by social media and stuff like that. I wasn't embedded in my identity, didn't know who I was. And a lot of that got stripped away from me as a child, because if you look at the institutions in college and high school, this is not all institutions, but primarily focusing on mine, a lot of the education is trauma-based and it's not empowerment-based. With being a black man, so you're taught and told that you're slaves, that your ancestors are slaves and victims and all of this. And then the trauma is embedded into you through even just your ancestry. So having to face all those different challenges is kind of something that I was facing. But then when I turned about 18, is when I really started to develop a high level of understanding and consciousness and self-awareness. I actually met a close friend. I won't say his name, but I met a close friend who really taught me just things about life and understanding your emotions, your feelings, understanding your trauma and how things could affect you in a negative light. And it kind of enticed me. It made me very intrigued and want to study philosophy more, psychology more, and even also having my uncle. So I did have some mentors and guides later on in my life that showed me different philosophies like Stoicism and showed me things. And as I started to get into those things, I started to become super obsessed with developing myself and growing myself. And those things helped me grow myself because I was an individual. So I had to become my own parent. I wanted to learn how to do everything on my own. And with that being said, it helped me become my own person, my own man. So those things, I became addicted to self-development. I became addicted to wanting to grow myself in all of these different aspects and ways, and learning more about myself and how things plan out the way they plan, and why I act the way I act, and why I believe the things that I believe. So just those things just alone has really got me obsessed with all of those different things. And then when I want to say I was about 20 years old to 19 years old, I had a serious spiritual awakening with understanding, the perception of my reality, understanding my some of the beliefs that I had were just indoctrination, and some of the things that I were believing and doing weren't really aligned with who I am, which is the whole point of being powerful and understanding who you are, is knowing the true you, the thing that you truly desire, not the things that you're told to desire, the thing that you're told to believe. So when I had that awakening, it kind of changed the way I seen things, and it changed my life, and kind of about the way that I carried myself throughout life and all of those things. And so I tell you that story to tell you what 7seals represents. So 7seals is the death of the old self, the death of the indoctrinated self, the death of the person that is told and taught to do these things and have these fears, doubts, and beliefs. I know the plane is mad loud, bro, so I hope y'all can hear me. But to basically integrate the old self into the whole self, which is the self that you already are. You know what I mean? You think about it as an infant, you grow up, you're not really indoctrinated too much, you're not taught or told these things, but then as you start to get older, certain beliefs are projected, certain shames, certain fears and regrets, and beliefs are put onto you to make you think a certain way and act a certain way. It's just to break free from all those chains and really just be yourself loosely, and express that, and not be afraid to express that. So also to be able to not even just on that aspect of things, but in the aspect of being able to become resilient through emotional pain, through trauma, through healing, and also through creating different opportunities for people. Going back to the healing and the resilience, is really building the integrity and resilience to be able to go through anything and to be capable of going through anything that you're facing in this world, that you're facing in life. To be able to integrate that and to become someone more powerful, more stronger, right? Things like that. So, and then another thing that I'm actually doing with the 7seals is a lot of what I'm doing right now is I'm doing a lot of things with the youth. I'm empowering the youth. I'm retraining their brains and changing the way that they think. You know what I mean? I'm posting content and I'm hosting health and wellness events. I actually just posted a health and wellness event. I just did one June 26th, the Wealthy Renaissance. It was about community healing, talking about healing, coming together, and just finding ways to connect with each other emotionally, and supporting each other's businesses, lives, and just building, those genuine connections. Primarily that's what my events are about. I got another event actually August 7th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. So that'll be really nice. But some of the things that I'm doing is just really involving myself in the community, really involving myself with other people, and primarily the Black community, but I'm open to all communities, open to all races. So I just want to build up my community first, and then after that expand nationwide, globally, and project my practices out to other people so they can push it out into their community, and really just keep growing and continue to grow. And this is also my clothing brand, 7seals, but this is more than just a brand. It's more about the message behind the brand and the meaning behind it, which I just explained. So another thing is like with transformation, it's like it really requires letting go of old habits. Like I had so many old habits that I had to let go of, like smoking and drinking and lusting towards women and like distracting myself and running away from my emotions. Like you have to let go of these habits in order to really transform, and you have to actually take action, right? You can't change by not doing anything or by just living in a state of fear. That's what they want. That state of fear that you were living in is just affecting you in such a negative light, and it's having a very hard effect on you of being able to actually change the person you are. Not that the person you already are is that there's something wrong with you, but it's that the person that you are probably right now is limiting your full potential in this world and this earth, right? Finding that power to look inward on yourself and understand, like, hey, I really am powerful. I can really do great things and amazing things. I just got to work through those things and find how to get to that point. So, that's really the biggest key, the biggest thing. If there was anything that surprised you about 7seals or that you didn't know about before, comment down one thing that you didn't know about 7seals and one thing that you look forward to of videos that I post, content, things that I do into community. Comment down below those things. Peace, family.